Hello and welcome to Up the Villa podcast. If you're new to our channel and you're re-watching it and not watching it live, drop the video a like, get involved in the comment section down below on Villa's 2-0 win against Norwich. I'm delighted to be joined by Josh and Justin. How are you both?
Good, mate.
Yeah, not bad, thanks, mate. Enjoying the bank holiday rest, I suppose.
Yeah, it's been nice. Normally we do these and we bang on them straight away, but I thought we'd just chill a little bit over the bank holidays, have a little bit of a relaxer for everybody. But Justin, you've been busy today watching the under-23, so what did you make of it?
Yeah, it was a nice experience. I think it's the first time I played at Villa Park this season. The little section that was open, middle of the Trinity, was sold out, so that was nice to see. But the game was a bit disappointing, really. It's typical Villa. Dominated both halves. I think we were the better side both halves. And we got beat 2-1 by, I mean, to be fair, the first goal from them, Tom Allen, not the comedian, he lobbed the keeper from about 40 yards out. It was a great spot and a great execution. We managed to get back level just after half time. Nicely worked, moved down the right. I think it's Frankie Ealing and Tommy O'Reilly did really well. And then cut it back to Caden Young, who just slotted it home from close range. And then it looked like we were the only team that was going to win it, and typical Villa style. That like cut in, the lad on the left-hand side, it floats the ball to the back stick and it went over the keeper's head again. So he was done twice by long-distance efforts. But, yeah, then it sort of fizzled out after that. But, I mean, lots of these, that was okay. There was some decent performances. There's some nice, talented young kids there. But the better of those sort of age bracket are all out on loan, aren't they? So I think that's sort of what it leaves them a little bit short, which is why they've struggled a bit this season. I think they've finished, looking at the league table, about 4th or 5th from bottom in the league too, so it's a bit disappointing. But the whole point of that is to create players that can go out on loan, and then if they go out on loan and do really well, then they can come back and challenge for a first team spot. You know, I got home and watched a bit of the Newport game this afternoon, and Finn Aziz got an assist and he was excellent. He got man of the match in the end. So a player that doesn't really get a lot of attention from Villa fans, with all the players that have gone out on loan and have done really well. But he's gone under the radar a little bit. But I think he's been named in team of the season, hasn't he, for the league he's in? Yeah. So he's obviously done very well. So yeah, it's good. It's exciting, isn't it? Looking forward. It's nice to see the young kids play.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to our main man Dino dropping a super chat. He's from your neck of the woods, isn't he, Josh?
Dino, yeah, love a bit of Dino. Always keeps you on your toes. He's a good lad, old Dino. Do enjoy him.
What did you make of Tommy O'Reilly then today?
Really good, really good. The first sort of 15, 20 minutes of the first half, he wasn't really involved much, but he grew into the game. He's quite short stature for a player. First time I've seen him live, but you can see why people rate him so highly. He's lovely on the ball. He's got a lovely balance to him. When he takes the ball, he beats people with ease, with just like a body swerve. He's left-footed. Yeah, and it looked like, to be fair, that if anything was going to happen for us, it would go through him. So he was quite impressive, really. I thought... what's his name? Left back. Ben Chrissine. I keep saying his name wrong. Chrissine, I think it is. Obviously, he's been in and around the first team for a bit. He did okay first half, then he came off. I presume that's maybe because he's going to be in the squad again, maybe in and around the squad. So he only played 45 minutes. I like Declan Frith, impressed me. Indiana Vasilev, that came back off loan. I think he's been to the MLS, hasn't he, somewhere? But I've never seen I tell you what, I've never seen a kid run so much in all my life from the first whistle. I mean, he was playing up front on his own, and he was just chasing all the way across the back four when they were knocking it around, and he never stopped running. I thought, God, you can't keep this up the whole game. But he eventually was replaced by Brad Young, who he's like a middleweight boxer, isn't he, Brad Young? I think his first tackle, he went straight through. The kid after to come off the bench. So, yeah, he's got something about him. Yeah, it was nice. It was a nice afternoon, to be honest. I'd like to see more of them, but I know they've had a bit of... I know the under-18s. I know a kid that plays in under-18s, and they're only allowed, even this season, one parent to go and watch them. But I think they're opening that up next year, so it'll be nice to get down and watch a few at the Villa Park, the Bodymore Heath pitch as well next year.
So Villa fans, like this video, it helps push us out for the YouTube algorithm, and you know your support's massive. Oliver has put RIP Dean's bank account. Dean, you're quality, mate. You always support the channel, so thank you for the super chat. So let's get on to the main event. While we're all here, Aston Villa 2, Norwich 0. The form's been very much indifferent, hasn't it? It's been up and down. We don't know where we stand with them, do we? When we're turning up to the game, to know whether we're going to turn up, whether we're going to play for 45 minutes or 90. We just do not know. But I thought we was, looking back, I think I was a bit negative in the fan cam straight after the game. And to be fair, the fan cams were very good. We had a right little buzz at this fan cam. We had a lot of people come to watch. There was a lot of people that come and just wanted to say hi. So it was really good. Justin, you had your 2 fans, didn't you?
I come for the dance. I came to say, are you doing the dance? But I don't think they'd listen to it properly. I said 4-0. I did apologise. So it wasn't, I couldn't do that. But I'll try and do it again next season. I'll try and predict one and we'll do one next year. I was going to do the robot. The crazy robot. It
was really nice to see people coming up to the fan cam as well. So it was, it was appreciated from us all. So Villa fans, in the comment section, then let us know your thoughts on the performance. Now you've had a little bit of time to think about it, but I thought it was okay. I thought Norwich did all right as well. I think for a team that's virtually getting relegated, I thought their mentality and application in that game was remarkable, really, from where they are. I mean, sometimes we can't turn up and we've just won 3 games in a row. So, our mentality is questioned quite a lot. But we had 21 shots, 18 from open play. We converted 9% of our chances. We had 41% of our attacks went through the left-hand side, 24 through the middle, 36 through the opposite side. We had passes, we did 418, crosses 12, through balls 2. And this is one thing that I picked up on, and I mentioned it to a few people, that I just feel like we're over-forcing our play. We sort of, I don't know, I just think we're just being too incisive at times, which leads us to give away possession. I think we just need to relax at times, chill on the ball, just knock it left to right. Yes, it's boring. Yes, the groans would come, but I just think it enables us to move our shape either side of the pitch. And I just think we need to work the opposition a little bit more savvy rather than all the time trying to go too direct, trying to play that incisive through ball. And this leads me on to it. Our average pass completion success rate on Saturday was 4. So every time we get to 4 passes, it virtually breaks down. And I think that is, we and Gerard know that we want to be a possession-based football team, but you are not going to be a possession-based football team when you're only averaging 4 passes every time. And I think this leads to the point in which I'm trying to make. I think we were a little bit too wasteful with the ball. Josh, do you want to add anything on that?
Yeah, I think it's frustrating where, as you said, that we can't seem to build any momentum in a game or any control. I think the word's control. Okay. I think we flew. A bit laggy there, but am I back all right?
Yeah, you're all right now.
You're all right. Go on.
Hello.
No, he's gone.
He's gone. Right, Justin, you answer that
question. Apologies.
Yeah, sorry about. Yeah. I thought it was. I do agree with what you say. We do tend to sort of try and force the game a lot, but I think that's Gerard's way of playing, isn't it? He's sort of like the wing backs, the full backs like to get forward, and they like to push the ball into Coutinho as quickly as possible. Then they're trying to get the ball into Ollie Watkins as quickly as possible. And I suppose it makes sense when you think about it, because the quicker you can attack a team, if you can catch them on the hop or you catch them on the break, then that's how you sort of, you should be able to score goals, shouldn't you? But I think I agree with what you're saying. Sometimes we've just got to sit back a little bit, be a bit more relaxed, a bit more composed, maybe in the passing, and then pick our times when we're going to sort of hit them and go for the killer ball. And we've got players that can do it. Ramsey loves to pick the ball up and run at people. McGinn, I thought McGinn was really quiet again on Saturday. He sort of huffs and puffs, and he's always there, but you don't really notice him a lot. He's not doing loads and loads in the game. So I think that we know there's lots of improvement to come from Villa. We know there's things that aren't working that well. The Coutinho, Buendia, it's amazing. Every time he's come on recently, he's injected a real impetus into our play, hasn't he? He looks bright, he looks lively, he wants to pick the ball up. All of his passes are crisp. That generally doesn't miss a pass either. So that's what I think Gerrard's trying to instill in them. And it's just such a shame for him that the Coutinho is the person that's sort of playing in his position at the moment. But I think his time has come to come back into the side, and whether that will change the dynamic of how we play, it may very well do, because he can be such an influential player for us.
Yeah, Josh, you're back now. What did you make of the game then?
You put your 50p in now, Josh.
Yeah, not a good sign that really as well, because I want to stream later. But I think the big thing for me is about control, wanting to control a game. We came out the blocks first 5-10 minutes, which was great, but I genuinely felt that was a game where we should have been able to have more possession to control the game. I think if I was to take three big things away from that game, three big talking points. Number one is Luca Dean. I think he's going to be sensational for us. I think we just saw exactly why Gerrard signed him, what he's going to offer. Number two is a bit controversial, this one. Leon Bailey, sell him in the summer. I'm going to throw that one out there. I think his injury record, if you look at his injury record in the last couple of years, I don't think this bloke can stay fit. And I don't think he wants it enough to fight in the Premier League. I just got this, don't know, if just, when you feel a bad egg or something that's not going to work out, I'm going to put him out there. And then finally, the system. I still feel like we're missing some key components with your Danny Ings and your Emiliano Buendia about, will this system get the best out of them? But yeah, I think the Leon Bailey one for me, he didn't look right from minute one. And I question whether, if you can't turn it on against Norwich, and no offence, but he's playing against Brandon Williams, who on loan, Manchester United, arguably, I'm not quite sure where Brandon Williams will be next season. Just didn't look like he ever had the beating of him. But I don't know if I'm the only Villa fan who feels like that about Leon Bailey or what. But I don't know about you two. How do you feel, Justin, or how do you feel about Bailey?
I went to Leicester away and I praised Bailey all week, because I thought against Leicester away, I started to see signs of Bailey tracking back and working really, really hard. So I was quite pleased that he kept his starting spot at the weekend, and I thought, okay, this is going to be his first start at home at Villa Park. Come on, let's build on that performance. Let's see what you're all about. Let's put a bit of a blockbuster performance in. And yes, he worked the keeper well, didn't he, for that save? It was a fantastic save. But I just weren't seeing enough. And I think when I look at the Villa side and I look at our midfield, and I know that everybody has to be bang on it for 90 minutes at the minute, and everybody has to put a shift in, I'm just not sure. I know he got injured, but I just came away thinking, weren't a great start, was it? Justin, what do you make of it? I'm not slandering Bailey at all, because I want to give him as much chance as we possibly can. But
Absolutely.
The cameo that we saw on Saturday still leaves that question, doesn't it? Gerrard's shown faith in him, and it's like you're just not getting enough.
I've just seen Hannah's comment in the comments, called him Leon Fraley, which I thought was great.
That's good. That is very good.
It is very good, yeah. She's great, Anna. I'm massively on the fence because I think his time at Villa is probably up. I think he's probably done. I think he's a very good footballer, and I think if he goes wherever he ends up, should he go in the summer and he gets fit, we'll probably see a player from a distance that we'll think, Jesus, where was that player at the Villa? So it is a shame, but these things happen, don't they? You sign players and there's no guarantee. It doesn't matter how much you spend on a player. There's no guarantee that they're going to be a success, whether it's £5 or 50 million quid. I thought he did okay on Saturday. I thought he looked like he was up for it. I think this little run of games that Gerrard's obviously decided to keep him in the team, to try and play him into form, to give him a bit of confidence, a bit of self-belief back. I thought he did all right. I thought he tried to pick the ball up. He tries to beat his man. I mean, he was barring a world-class save he scores on Saturday, and who knows what could have done for him if he'd have bent that one in the top corner. And then for me, it's a really bad challenge on him, and he did look hurt straight away. From where I was sitting, he was rolling around in agony. Didn't look like he was putting it on at all. Yeah. And I watched him for about the next 10 minutes after that. I was talking to my wife sitting next to me. I said, he's just not right. You could tell he was trying to run it off. And then he was okay for about 20 minutes. And obviously by that point, he just thought, I can't carry on here. And I've seen a lot of people sort of slagging him off, calling him, bottle job. He's bottled it. He's come off. But, if you're injured and you're hurting and you've tried to run it off for 20 minutes, then you've got to come off. You're doing a disservice to the team by not coming off. So he probably did the right thing there. But I'm probably with Josh now. I'm in the camp that it's probably not going to work now for him at Villa. So we probably will have to cut our losses, I think, the summer.
I think as well, he doesn't fit the system that Gerrard wants to play. He's not. He's an out-and-out winger. Like that's his job, right? He's an out-and-out winger. Or he's played down the middle before. I just don't think. I think what's frustrating maybe for me is that Gerrard has been loyal to him, and I completely agree. We've got to see what this man's all about, Leon Bailey. Like, we need to see what he's about, because we paid that big bucks and he comes with a big rep. But for me, I'm gagging to see Emiliano Buendia play. And the fact that Bailey's maybe getting in ahead of him at the moment, especially that Norwich game, I was just a bit like, I don't think the system suits Bailey. So it's interesting. And I think it's another big decision for this summer. Everyone keeps talking this summer about the players that we need to buy. I think I'm completely in the other camp. I think this summer is all about how big is everyone's cojones at Villa to decide who we sell. I think that's the most important thing first. And I think his name, although we've signed him this summer, I think his name will be up there for do we move him on? I really do.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's just one of them. It's because he's had the injuries. It's been stop-start and a little bit difficult to see what he's all about. But so there was one bit as well where I think he let his runner go, didn't he? And they were breaking down us on the right-hand side. And I just felt like, I spoke about it in the preview that we need our front two in behind the striker to be a bit like Salah and Mane and to work hard for the team. And I think if we're not seeing that, then we've got problems. And I think that was an issue.
I also think, when we do our predicted lineup episodes, and I'm sort of looking at our squad, and we all know, we study it every day, and I think about it every day, mostly, who we've got, who's going to play, how we're going to play. And every time I look at our squad list, I just see Dean Smith's formation staring out at me. It fits perfectly with this. I know that's an obvious thing to say because Gerrard's only had one window and he's only brought in two players. So you can't switch a whole system and an ethos and a way of playing in one transfer window, signing two players. We've got a load of players that fit perfectly into 4-2-3-1. It's great. Two wide wingers, player in the middle, two holding players. Gerrard blatantly doesn't play like that. He doesn't want to play like that. He's got no intention of playing like that. Otherwise, you'd have tried it by now. And it's you've got to try and get. And I think it's going to take more than one more window, possibly two windows, maybe even three, to properly get his squad in. Will he have the time to do it? Who knows? We'll see. But that's his biggest problem for me this season is he's got a load of players that, just like you say, Josh, you've got Traore, you've got Bailey, who are out wingers, and they just don't fit in the system. And he's tried. I think Gerrard has done the right thing by trying to persist with Bailey, because if he could fit into the system, then he's obviously an asset. If he can stay fit and get anything like his form back from that what prompted us to sign him for 30-odd million quid, then why would you throw that away? So. But it's going down the way now that I think he's definitely looking like it's going to be a too much for him. So the summer's massive, but we've known that for a long time.
Villa fans, drop the video a like as well. You should be able to just press that like button while you're still watching as well. So support the channel, push this video out there. And you make some good points because we don't play with wingers, and we've now got four. We've got Traore, Trezeguet, El Ghazi, and Bailey. So those are four players potentially that aren't fitting into a Gerrard system. And at the end of the day, at this moment in time, we can't afford to just stockpile players and just keep them lying around. And, we might bring them up. We might bring one or two of them on next season. But, we can't have 4 wingers and we don't play with wingers. So I think that's going to be difficult in the summer to get rid of them, because we've seen it's quite difficult to get rid of players that you don't want for a fee. Like we've seen with Trezeguet and El Ghazi at the minute, they're out on loan, aren't they? So I think that area needs to be fine-tuned to, like Josh said, bring in the certain players that we need to bring in to make the system what Gerrard's trying to do to work, really. And we did our predicted lineup, and I don't think anybody saw Chambers coming in against Norwich for Conte, because we all wanted it against Leicester. We kept a clean sheet, and then it was sort of like Chambers is in, and we've got a load of games coming up now, haven't we? We've got like 5 games in the space of 2 weeks virtually. So the squad's going to have to be utilised. And I want to pick up on this comment, and I think this is where we're going to see Buendia a little bit more. He's put, by the way, how professional is Buendia? A lot for a record signing would have thrown their toys out the pram by now, and some player. And, he's so professional, isn't he? I've managed to be in the loot box with Justin, and he comes out with his kids after the game having a kickabout on the pitch. And to me, he looks like he absolutely loves playing for Aston Villa. And when he comes on, we've seen performances where he's lighting Villa Park, isn't he, when he comes on for them 20 minutes? So I would like to now see Buendia start games. What are you saying, Josh?
Yeah, I'm desperate, to be honest. Desperate. Look, for me, I love his intensity. Everything about him is that intensity I like in a footballer. He, even when he came on against Norwich, he was creating. Every movement with Buendia is to play forward, to be direct. And what I like about Emi Buendia as well is I think he's really flexible in terms of the positions he can play. I know you're just talking there about, you named the 4 wingers. I think he could go and play on either side of a 4-2-3-1. So I'm desperate to see him in there. But the one comment that sort of is in the back of my mind that Gerrard's basically alluded to is he feels like him and Coutinho can't play on the same team, essentially. I don't get that. That's the one I don't get why they can't, or how that isn't happening. But yeah, I just thought when he came on, the intensity brings, and absolutely that comment was right about his professionalism. The lad's been harshly left on the bench, I think, at times, and could have had or should have had longer minutes and hasn't. When Danny Ings came on for him, I don't know what you guys thought, but I was really expecting Buendia to be the straight swap for Leon Bailey, and he chose Danny Ings, and I'm like, all right then, Gerrard, what's going on here then, lad? What's this about? Why Ings? Why not Buendia? And I'd love to know the thoughts about that as well. So I don't know. Did that buffer you, Justin? Ings over.
Yeah, when Bailey looked like he was definitely coming off, I said, Bailey, Buendia is definitely coming on here. He'll slot straight into this system. But he went down the Danny Ings route, didn't he? He slotted Coutinho into the 10 and behind the 2 9s, which we've spoke about a lot. 1 10, 2 9s all the way around. And to be fair to Danny Ings, he played really well when he come on. It was great through a ball over the top to Ollie Watkins, who made the most of it. Did really well, held his man off and finished well. And then he got his goal towards the end. So it's not a criticism of Danny Ings by any stretch of the imagination. We keep coming back to the same problem over and over again. We've got a load of players that don't fit into Gerrard's system. That's just that's it, isn't it? That's draw a line under that. We've got a squad full of players that don't fit into the way he wants to play. So he's got to address it in the summer, and he will do. But for me, Buendia has been. It's a great comment. He's been really, really professional. He's been fantastic. He sat there. He hasn't moaned. The fans love him. They're singing his name before he comes on. So it must be incredibly frustrating for him. The only thing I can think with as far as Gerrard goes is that he's told Buendia that he's got massive future at the club, but he's got to look at other players. He's got to, I need to see what maybe I don't know. Yeah, I'll be amazed. I'll be amazed if Gerrard hasn't spoke to Emi Buendia and said, "Look, don't get too frustrated. Don't worry too much about not getting too much game time. I need to see what these other players can do, whether they can fit into my system." I'm hoping that's what he's saying, that you do fit into my system and I do want you to stay. But I'm not sure he would say this to him. I'm not sure about Leon. I'm not sure about Bertrand. I'm not sure about all these players. So I need to give them game time towards the end of the season to find out. Maybe I don't know. But Emi Buendia's got a big part to play.
I thought this was funny on Saturday. I thought that
he was
playing Football Manager, weren't he, on the side?
Yeah.
Everybody is coming on. He's on. Get him on.
It was funny, yeah.
Do you know what's interesting, though, that we keep talking about the system, right? And the players. Surely we're in a position this season where Gerrard could mix up the formation. I want to see plan B. I'm just trying to think. He hasn't tried three at the back or anything this season, has he? We haven't.
Nope.
We've literally seen the same system all the way through. I'm just wondering, can we not see an adaptability of another formation, another system to try and see different personnel? Or is he actually going to just ride this out all the way to end of season, graft that whole pre-season on and say, no, this is the way we're playing. Do plan A and be good at plan A, and that's it. It's just interesting. It was just coming into my mind as we've talked about systems a lot.
I feel like it's just going to be more personnel. I think it's just going to be, you saw Konsa coming out for Chambers. I don't think that was a form thing. I just thought it was because we know we've got a lot of games coming up this month. We've got 5 games left, I think. So I think you're going to start to see that a little bit more. It was brilliant to see Tim Irabunum. Have I smashed it? Have I got it right?
Finally, we got it.
I got it right. Let's go. Irabunum.
I've heard a lot of pronunciations of that name, Luke, over this weekend.
I've been bold and brave to say that tonight. So, yeah, right. So I thought he had a good game. I thought it was really good that we had him and Ramsey on the pitch at the same time. Brilliant for the academy. Brilliant that they're coming through. The average age of those two players is very low compared to some sides have got I don't know, whatever. But I think it's really pleasing and really promising. What I do hope is that I've seen in the comments, I know Dino's mentioning Chukwuemeka quite a bit, but I just feel like I hope now there's a view for him to stick around in the first team, stick around in the matchday squad, stick around on the bench. I don't want it to just be like what happened last season with Chukwuemeka and Bidanes, where last 2 games of the season, you get 2 games, and it just felt like it was just, you've done well. You've been involved this season. Here's your little bit of a thank you. I hope it's more of, I see a vision for you to grow in this squad. So, I just hope that he sticks around because I think he did play really well. I think he did give the ball away a couple of times, but I felt like his head could have gone after those. And I felt like he really kept his composure. And I think he did really, really well. I'd give him a 7 out of 10. The less said about Chukwuemeka, the better, I think, because I think I don't really want to give that too much airtime, to be fair, because I just feel like why should Gerrard play him? Gerrard did start playing him when he first came in. He did give him the minutes. He played against City. He played against Norwich. He had that little bit of a patch where he was coming on in games. But I just think, whatever's happened behind the scenes, if you're not signing that deal to play for Aston Villa, if you can't look at Jacob Ramsey and see the progression he's done, if you can't see where we're trying to go, the level of players that we're trying to bring in, then if I'm being honest, I don't want to see you in the team, to be fair. Does anyone else want to add anything on that? It's just true,
I agree. No, I totally agree. I think I've decided probably after this, what I'm just going to say now, I won't talk about him again unless he signs a new contract because it's such a shame because he's such a great talent. He was the standout one coming through the ranks, wasn't he? He was one everybody was buzzing about. And I think when Gerrard first came in, he spoke a lot about him. He said, we're talking to him a lot. I want him to stay. And there was a lot of press out there about it was obviously a club idea to try and make him feel like he really wanted him to stay. And whatever they've tried to do behind the scenes on as far as the contract's gone, it hasn't worked. So on the outside, we obviously don't know. We're just guessing here, surmising, and it looks like he wants to go and he wants to play somewhere else. Otherwise, he would have signed that deal by now. I can't think it's a money issue. I think it's just literally a playing issue. I think maybe his agent has got in his ear and said, I can get you a move here or there, which he's gobsmacking because if he leaves Villa, you would think he'd want to go somewhere even bigger, which there ain't that many clubs bigger than Villa currently in the league. So he ain't going to get game time, is he?
But for his age, we've got Ramsey 20, how old's Irabunum? 18?
18.
Right, 18. So there's not many sides that are giving minutes to players of that age.
No, it's ridiculous.
We're not only giving them minutes, but they're prospering in the team. They're doing really well. It's not like, they're coming in and they're doing crap. So
I mean, if he thinks he's just going to waltz into, I don't know, go to Man City. I mean, we've sold Jack for 100 million, the record English, sale of all time last summer, and he can't get a run in the team at Man City. So if Chukwuemeka thinks he's going to go somewhere like that and play regularly, he's living in cloud cuckoo land. But it's up to him. It's his career. It's his life. It's his decision. He's perfectly entitled to run his contract down, and he's perfectly entitled to leave. That's fine. But I would only really want to talk about him from now on if he commits to Villa and he wants to stay.
It stinks of a bad agent to me. That's what I think it comes down to. I think he's got the wrong guy, and that's such a shame when you see that in a player so early in your career. Like, if you think how old he is, to have this agent advice, it just stinks. It stinks of a bad agent.
Well, I also think, obviously, we're biased. We're massive Villa fans, and we know what a talent he is, and we want him to stay at the Villa, and we just think he can stay and prosper here and make us better. And ultimately, he's not a Villa fan. He's just come through the ranks at a club, and he's been told that this, that, and the other can happen. So he's got to make a decision, and if that's his decision, if he thinks he can go somewhere else and become a huge success, then he's got to live or die by that decision in the summer, hasn't he? So wherever he goes, his career will either go from strength to strength or it will disappear off like so many others have in the past. And he'll end up in the Championship or League One. I don't know. Only time will tell whether he's made the right decision, if it is to be that he's going to leave. But I think it's a shame. It's a shame. It really is. I'd love to see him flourish at the Villa.
Yeah, definitely. Right. So I know Josh has got to go in a bit. Well, we'll just end on a little bit of a Premier League roundup then, because it was a bit tasty, weren't it? Some of the games. Everton beat Chelsea, which was mental. Wolves lost 3-0. Watford threw it away against Burnley, didn't they? Leeds got battered against City. So that relegation battle at the bottom, it's so tasty, isn't it? It's sort of like swings game on game, doesn't it, Josh? What are you saying then? Who do you think's in trouble at the minute?
Yeah, so my mate sent me, he's a big Leeds fan, and he sent me a graphic the other day. I'm just getting it up now. And he basically asked me, he said, be really honest with me, who do you think's going down? And just looking at it, Leeds have got Arsenal, Chelsea, Brighton and Brentford. Whereas obviously Burnley have got us twice, Spurs and Newcastle. And I just think Everton, their back-end run, they've got Watford, Brentford and Palace in the middle. And it all looks really tight. And I genuinely, it seems weird, but I genuinely think Leeds are the biggest, the team who are in trouble the most out of those. Yeah, looking at the fixtures, looking at personnel, I actually think out of nowhere again, Leeds could be the one in trouble. And what makes me laugh is that, I say laugh, they sat Bielsa thinking that it was the right way to go. But it's really torn. And we said on my channel, I can't remember a season like this, fellas, where we've had a Premier League title race that is going down to the literally. Me and Dino have got a £20 bet on. I stupidly took it before the Everton-Chelsea game because he kept nagging me. I said Everton going down, and they go and beat Chelsea. But now I'm changing my tune. But title race that is going to literally a point difference. The top four race that literally no one wants to seem to get top four, and now all of a sudden Chelsea are getting dragged into that. Wolves and West Ham could be funny and not Man United out of all European spots if they really put. And then this relegation, it's just, I can't remember a season like it. And I'm all here for it. And then annoyingly, there's us who's just like, what are we playing for? Finishing higher than 11th, which is the real shame that we're not involved in that higher end battle.
Yeah, well, I think that win at the weekend sort of clawed us back into that pack, didn't it? And I think we've got 5 games left. You'd be looking at us getting a couple more wins, which could get you to around 10th, couldn't it? And I'm with you. I'm looking at Leeds fixtures. I'm thinking they've got to play Arsenal, who are going for Champions League. They've got to keep winning. So they're coming up against a team they're having to play for something, aren't they? Teams down the bottom want to be playing the mid-table teams that have got sort of nothing to play for. So they've got Arsenal, Chelsea. Now they're back in the fight to get top 4, aren't they? Because their form's dipping, so they've got to keep winning games. And then their other two, you look at, and they're tough games. Brighton's a tough game. Like you say, I think Everton have got that midfield pack in a couple of games time where you'd see them getting points. And I don't think Burnley are going to beat Villa twice. So you look at them not getting 4 points in all their games. So I'd be a little bit worried if I was a Leeds fan. What are you saying, Justin?
Well, I think I said it last week or the week before when we talked about this. I fancied Leeds a couple of weeks ago. I also fancied Everton to get something at Chelsea the weekend because I just feel, you look at some teams, you just feel they've got a win in them. And I fancied Everton, they've got a win in them against somebody. And you know, the footballing gods this often happens. Frank Lampard against his old team. And that manages, I mean, it wasn't a pretty 1-0 win, but it was, who cares when you're in position there just to get them 3 points. I think Leeds are in huge trouble. Everton have got a game in hand over Leeds. Looking at their fixtures, I think there's a chance they can pick up a few points here and there. Leicester are just doing nothing. Watford are already down. Brentford at home, you'd fancy them to get something there. And then they've got Palace at home again, not playing for anything. So they've got winnable fixtures there, Everton have, especially given it's back against the wall and it's a do or die cup final every game, isn't it? But Leeds is the one for me. Like you've just run through the fixtures there. They're in poor form. They're in, they don't look like they've got a huge fight in them. Not like
Injuries
they did under Bielsa. Injuries are piling up.
Yeah, didn't Dallas get injured as well?
I think he did, yeah. I feel like that they're the ones that are going to get dragged in, and I feel like I think it'll go down to the last game of the season. Like I think that top 4 run will go to the last game of the season. But I think they're more. I think they'll be in the bottom 3 come the last game of the season. Then it's up to them to try and get something, I think.
Yeah. Cool. Right. So we'll end this one here then. Thank you, everybody who's been watching. Thank you for the guys that put in super chats as well. Thank you for Josh. Josh, what are you doing in a bit then?
We've got the Man United Brentford watch along. I've seen a few people in the chat who obviously who usually in my channel. But yeah, Man United Brentford, that Europa League conference battle for United is massive, isn't it? Absolutely massive to play for 7th place. So yeah, it's gonna be a good one. Cool.
So go ahead and support Josh's channel as well. A view from the stands, watch-alongs, Villa content as well, vlogs at games, really good stuff that he puts out there as well. And he's a massive Villa fan. And he's playing for Up the Villa podcast.
He is indeed. In June. Hopefully legs are okay after yesterday.
I'm very, very sore. But yeah, so thanks everyone for watching. Like the video, subscribe, help support the channel, help support Josh's channel. We'll be back on Wednesday for our Burnley preview. We've got a very, very special guest coming on, a former Burnley player, former Wolves player, and a former Walsall player, and a Republic of Ireland international. So stay tuned for that one. It's going to be a great insight to everything around Burnley, and just great to have a former player on the channel as well. And yeah, like, subscribe, and see you all in a bit.